I wanted to go over this Dunkin' Donuts workers strike. This is kind of old news by this point. It's from 3 weeks ago. I don't know if they're still striking, but as a fast food worker myself, I think I can give valuable input into their issue here. Basically, I think the main thing that they're talking about, well, they say here, respect for your workers. One of the bigger complaints, I watched part of this video, not the entire thing, but basically one of the main complaints is going to be the fact that they're replacing actual workers with like kiosks and robots, and basically putting their work in danger. Well, we'll go over all that in a moment. I need to pee. Oh, this is Channel 5 with Andrew Callaghan.
That they actually put a kiosk up in front of the Dunkin' Donuts to replace the cashiers that are there. You can see
this is becoming more and more common.
Wall for a
I think the first place I saw it was Steak and Shake. They had the kiosk. Then I started seeing it at like McDonald's and then Wendy's. Steak and Shake was interesting because it's kind of a sit down restaurant. Not really, but it's more sit down. I would say it's more sit down than McDonald's. It's like the same level of sit down as like Panera. Like Panera is also fast food, but I feel like you're more likely to sit down at Panera than Taco Bell. Does that make sense? It makes sense.
Reduction in workforce, and I think that's the thing that
he needs to do a little pixel refresh on his camera. He's got some burnt pixels.
We're looking out for. They've already installed QR codes on the table, and we are worried that, the next step is a tablet. Next step could even be a robot one day, and we need to be able to have a say in the workplace if we allow.
I think adding kiosks and robots to fast food is actually a good thing. And I say this as a fast food worker because there's so many steps anytime you're ordering. There's so many different people handling your order at any given point. You go up to a person, they take your order. Someone in the kitchen makes your order. Maybe there's multiple people making your order. Someone's wrapping each individual item. Someone's wrapping the burgers. Someone's boxing up your chicken strips. Someone's boxing up your nuggets. Someone's putting your fries in the bag. And then there's another person taking all of those items and putting that into a bag to hand to you. Maybe there's even a whole nother person who hands you your order. There's a lot of different people handling your order in fast food, meaning that there are multiple points where human error can occur. And I think that if you can eliminate any one of those points, that is beneficial. The problem really is when people lose their jobs to the robot. I think I would hope that the mindset of companies would be to supplement their workforce with robots as opposed to cutting down their workforce and replacing them with technology. I think that's bad. I think that's very bad. Because the thing with fast food is you have to do, one of the biggest things with fast food is you just don't have time for everything that you have to do. You have to handle the customers. You have to prep the food. You have to put the food together correctly. And on top of that, you are constantly cleaning. Assuming you're in a good restaurant. So I've worked in some restaurants where they don't really do a lot of cleaning. Let me tell you, those are significantly worse establishments. I'm not going to say where, but some places just don't do nearly as much cleaning, and it shows. It shows. You don't see it as the customer, but as the worker, even I look at that, I'm like, that's not good. Should probably clean a little more. But some places are really good about cleaning, but the thing is that you don't have a separate scheduled time to clean typically. You're kind of just trying to fit it in amongst all the orders you're taking and all the orders you're trying to provide for the customers. And there's just not enough time for all of it. It's so stressful. You're multitasking. You're expected to multitask like 10 things at once. And there's just not enough people. So I think if you put in a kiosk to replace the person taking your order, that frees up one person to, help where there needs to be help, whether that's cleaning, whether that's helping bagging orders, helping make the orders. Like any time there's a huge line at a fast food restaurant, it's because they have 2 people making food for 30. Like, it sucks. It sucks for the customers. It sucks for the workers. It's just a net negative. So put robots in fast food, but don't get rid of the people. That's what I have to say about that.
Automation it's just going to take customer service, away. It's going to take service out of customer service, and that's not what people want.
They hate workers.
I don't think it takes out the service. It takes out an aspect of service. The thing is, I would rather... let's be real here. For 90% of people, unless you're an old person, old people love going up to the registers. I personally, and I think I've seen this with a lot of younger people, is we would rather use the kiosks because if we enter it, we're going to get it right. Again, if you go up to a person and they take your order, they might not hear you clearly. You might, something might sound like a different item. They might hit a button wrong and they're just not paying attention. Again, that sucks. They should do better, but that's mistakes happen. Mistakes happen. There's a reason why mistakes in fast food are so common.
They hate us so much that they want to automate us away. They hate us more than they love their profits. I am an anarchist, so I do believe that hierarchies and places of power cause violence, and that's pretty much all they do.
You think that profit over people is going to last forever, or do you think that
you need to have hierarchy because some people are better at managing others
ultimately kind of level the playing field and create a new society?
Well, some people have to get shot.
Developing news today out of New York City, where the CEO of United Healthcare was shot and killed in broad daylight.
I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit, just to be sure.
I hope it's not me.
Yeah.
Did you know that every Thanksgiving,
shooting people's bad, by the way. You shouldn't do it.
9 million Americans use airports like Phoenix Sky Harbor to travel to go see family elsewhere in the world? It's crazy, right? It's a big week. But guess what? There's a lot of beef right now at the airport. You know why?
Hundreds of restaurants and concession employees on strike.
Yeah, a lot of beef, not a lot of donuts.
Protest tomorrow.
And because of this, restaurants and concessions will be shut down. The workers with HMS Host, a vendor operating
that
many
sucks.
of the restaurants
Not having
and
food at an
coffee shops
airport.
inside the terminals, say it's time for their demands to be met.
The workers say they want what most American workers want. That's the ability to keep food on their table and a roof over their heads.
Employees want better pay, healthcare, and retirement plans, especially...
yeah, so does everyone.
It's just become clear that we've gotten to a point where the things that we are asking for are falling on dead ears with the company, with HMS.
But HMS Host paints a different picture.
The thing with... I do think fast food workers are underpaid. But that's a tough one because, again, you need a lot of fast food workers working at a fast food place to keep up with orders, and there's just not, unless they jack up the jack up the prices to Five Guys level prices. It's just there's not really room for profit. I in an ideal world they would get paid more. In an ideal world, everyone would get paid more. But the fact is that anyone could do a fast food position. I will say fast food positions are a lot tougher than I would say most retail positions. I've worked retail before too, and that was easy peasy.
Claiming it's offering 12% raises and better benefits, and in a statement says the strike, quote, serves to hurt the traveling public and the HMS Host associates who continue to work during this difficult time.
So, we're going to go to a protest, specifically a Phoenix Sky Harbor food service anti-automation protest. We're going to meet up with some Dunkin
that's a mouthful.
that may or may not be being replaced by robots in the near future. And we want to ask some of the employees about how they feel robots pose an
Do those robots that deliver your food actually work well?
Class.
My name is Winona Rue, and I work at the Dunkin
I feel like they don't
in
yet.
Terminal 4. There's 2 kiosks.
Oh no,
at the
not
front.
kiosks.
No one really uses them, but the
They
way
should.
it works really sucks, and it's like less.
I've never had a problem with the Dunkin' kiosk. I use the kiosks at Dunkin' all the time. It works fine.
Efficient than just going up and ordering.
They don't even put the work into the kiosks that they need to have them operate properly, if at all.
It's making our job harder because there's all kinds of stuff in the system that we don't have or that we do have that's not available, and the prices
This is a fair point. If they're gonna have the kiosks, they should be integrated more properly.
Going to the table and talking to people ourselves.
They'll send an order through.
Because like the workers will know if something's like out of stock, or you know, if an issue happens, they can easily inform the customer if they're the ones taking the order. But with a kiosk, I mean, I've never really worked at a fast food place that has a kiosk. I don't know how hard it is to update those, but if it is problematic to update them, it should be made much easier. And there should be like a system in place to actually fix orders where they ordered something that that isn't actually available. That's a pretty big issue, and not really one that's considered.
On the kiosk, and
you would think it would be, but it's not really.
Silently pop up on our screen, so we won't even, unless we're actively looking at it, we're not going to know about it. We're just sit around like wondering why there's people in the lobby, and we're like, oh, there's a order. Yeah.
Well, you should be trained to check the screens.
They're down more often than they
But again,
are
the problem is that there's
usable.
probably
They're
just not enough
connected
people to check
any of our
each screen.
computers at Dunkin' Donuts.
You're
We have
handling 10
no
things at
idea
once.
what
You forget a
anybody
screen
orders.
for like 10
and then
minutes.
they'll come up to us all angry
Someone
with
doesn't
the
get their
receipt.
food.
I have a roofing company. You work at Dunkin' Donuts. Who the fuck is being ignorant? I made $350,000 last year. I'm fucking ignorant.
It's frustrating on both ends.
Yeah, probably.
Like,
You
why
probably
is that
are
even
ignorant.
there?
I think they're just trying to.
You probably don't
squeeze every
understand
penny
the
they
issues
can
that
out of the
a
entire
common fast food
experience,
worker who
and
makes
to allow people to do it
15 an hour
themselves
goes
just
through.
makes it quicker and easier for the company.
Do you feel like you
Like they
enjoyed
should have
that?
gotten your order right, but
No,
you don't
I've
have to
worked
yell at them.
Customer service for 5 years. I
Anytime,
don't-
like fast food workers in general, I feel like are fine fixing your order. If they're not, then that sucks. They suck. But in general, as long as someone's nice to me, of course, I'll fix your food. I'll fix your order. It's not a big problem. Just don't yell at me.
don't enjoy this. I'm here for the paycheck. It would have been more profitable for them to like agree to this contract because they're really suffering now that we're out like demonstrating like this during Thanksgiving.
This is the busiest travel time in the whole year, and we have to make a disruption in order for them to listen to us and for them to know that we're serious.
What kind of existential threat do you think automation poses to the workforce?
People want human interactions as much as people want to say that, you know, AI and automation is the way.
People want a certain level of human interaction. But not more than you have to have.
People that come through the airport, they don't want to continue to serve themselves. You know, they want to sit down and relax and not have to think about everything. And
which involves, I think, to a certain extent, not interacting with other people.
Allow somebody to take care of them.
As a server, I don't want to be relegated to a glorified food runner at the end of the day where, you know, the customer is doing my job, and that's not part of the experience that we want when we go out to eat. We actually want to be served.
Then you should probably work at a sit-down restaurant
here sometimes,
and not a
but
fast
I do
food
like
restaurant.
that I get to have a lot of
If that's the
interactions with a
experience
lot of
that
really
you
cool
want.
people.
I mean, part of the best part of my day is getting to talk with the guests, get to know them, see why they're traveling, where they're going to, joking around. Like, that's what people come into a full-service experience for. If they didn't want that, they would just go and grab a sandwich and go sit by the gate. So I feel like they're taking that away in the name of profit.
Yo, what's up? Los Angeles, California, 9:30 a.m. I just went inside that Dunkin' Donuts.
I think she makes a good point, but not for the
kiosk. There was no human
not specifically for
interaction
Dunkin'.
happening. You had a counter dividing two classes.
If it was a sit-down restaurant,
the
I would
working
understand,
class
but
and the consumer class with no
not for a fast food place.
cross-verbal traffic at all. It was solitary, somewhat awkward, probably bad for the employees because they're understimulated, I think. But for me, I honestly kind of enjoyed it. Got to walk in there, headphones in, didn't have to talk to anybody about anything going on, and now look at it. I have a perfect oat milk infused 16-ounce Dunkin' Donuts coffee in my hand.
Hell yeah, I agree.
But that's not why I'm out here filming this. What if I told you there's a service that we use before we go into the field to see how the mainstream media is covering both sides of the issue? Well, that's true. And that service is called Ground News. It's a dope-ass news aggregate that every single day compiles thousands of articles and ranks them from left to right with their bias comparison tool. So you can
that seems useful.
Echo chamber and figure out what the heck is really going on. They also have a dope-ass tool called Blind Spot that allows you to see stories not being covered by the left or the right. Full disclaimer, Ground News does cost money, as it should. It's the best in the business, and the only tool that I can think of today on the market that can snatch you out of that nasty echo chamber that so many people find themselves stuck inside. Here's an example. Let's use the topic of worker strikes for an example. So I have Ground News up on my phone right now, and it says a couple weeks ago in Canada post workers went on strike to protect their pensions, disrupting the flow of mail across the whole country. Using Ground News, you can see that 61% of the coverage is left-leaning, 21% to the center, and just 18% to the right. On the left, you can see Jacobin, who described this as a fight for the future of public services, and interviews union leaders about potential scabs crossing the picket line. And on the right, you can see the Epoch Times, who've penned an article called What to Do About Your Christmas Mailing Needs as the Canada Post Strike Looms, focusing instead on the potential inconveniences that are going to be faced by holiday shoppers and consumers. So both angles contain pretty interesting information and show us how the public is reacting at large. Ground News also has a dope-ass tool called Switch Editions, which allows you to pivot from national news to local news, or even switch countries. And guess what? For a limited time only,
wow,
you get a special discount with my link on the Vantage subscription. Bringing the
I mean, if you want to hear about British news instead of American, yeah.
www.ground.news/channel5. www.ground.news/channel5. All right, guys, back to the streets. Despite the strong sentiments of these protesters, many Thanksgiving travelers are not opposed to AI and enjoy automated kiosks for their convenience, among other things. What do you think about automation and AI?
I think it's a great idea. It just seems to make it much more swift. Some of these, it just makes traveling so much easier. We thought it was pretty neat, you know.
Over here, they're protesting, saying that it's going to kind of take away jobs and stuff. What do you think about that?
Well, you can always look at it two ways, I think, because you're creating jobs on the other side, too. You know, someone's got to build the robots, someone's got to maintenance them, someone has to put the food on it somehow. It's
that's true.
Forth. You know, you might lose one.
It is creating a higher paying job.
Another one here, I feel.
On the other end,
how do you feel about QR code menus?
Kind of bland to me.
Yeah,
at the
mid, below grade.
Oh, the QR code menus are the worst.
Poses an existential threat to the American working class.
It's always hard to find the people. It's not super well integrated.
Poses an existential threat to the American working class.
No,
but the kiosks are
not
fine.
At all. If you work your ass off, if you work hard, then no, you shouldn't have anything to worry about.
Frankly, there's a lot of young kids right now who don't want to work.
True.
You know, and it's not that I want to automatically replace them, but I don't think it'll ever be like when I grew up.
I feel like nowadays, because of TikTok and stuff, all the kids want to be YouTubers and dancers and rappers.
True.
They don't want to like be engineers and scientists and doctors.
There are a lot of people who want to be YouTubers out there.
Definitely not carpenters or plumbers or whatever, which to me right now, I wish I was starting a job. I wouldn't mind starting out at $50 an hour. I think the kids, male, female, it doesn't make any difference. I have the sense of not
the problem with jobs like plumbing is that
and
it's
they
gross.
Expect $20, $30 an hour to start. They want a new house right away. They want a new car, a new boat, a new Sea-Doo, whatever it is. And it's like, give me a break, dude, you know?
Are you pro-capitalism?
Yeah, I guess yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's better than everything else we got, like being shoved in our face, right?
Yeah.
So I guess I'll take capitalism.
Are you optimistic about the future
That's
of
about how
American
I feel.
capitalism?
About that specifically, I'm not optimistic about that if it keeps continuing now.
How come?
Well, because it's hard to live. I mean, I live in a studio, converted from a garage, two blocks down from my landlord's McMansion. Like that's how I live. That's pretty much, give or take, how I've been living for like 5 years. I mean, I've been getting a taste of the real world for like years. So like I don't know, like why do these people have to? Why do these people deserve anything better than what I have? You know?
For sure.
Because they're in higher positions and and probably put a little more time into educating themselves and working hard to rise to those positions. Not all of them deserve it, but in general, the more work and the more work you're willing to put in beforehand, the more knowledge you're able to show, the higher your position will be. I think, I mean, even within a job that doesn't require very difficult labor, if you work hard and you're there for a long time, you're gonna get moved up the leadership ladder. Maybe not in all cases. Some jobs just suck. They won't move you up. But in general, I've found, like, I show up to work, I do my job, I do what my bosses say. It's not a huge deal because my bosses for the most part, my bosses have treated me well enough, and I don't hate them, so I'm willing to do what they say. The work isn't super difficult, and oftentimes I find I get recognized and rewarded for that. So, I mean, yeah, I feel like it's very bare minimum. I feel like I don't do very much. I don't work very hard. I just do what I am told to do to the best of my ability. And if I make a mistake, I try my best to fix it. Pretty bare minimum. And I get told I'm such a good worker all the time. Why would someone to choose to work in an airport restaurant as opposed to just a regular restaurant? Because that's what's immediately available. But I do think if you work in a regular restaurant, assuming that it's busy enough, you can make pretty good money in tips. If you're a server and you're a good server, you'll probably make good tip money. I've never worked as like a proper server in a sit down restaurant, so I wouldn't know for sure what that experience is like. But I've like, if you're willing to work hard on those really busy nights, I've seen people make pretty good stacks out of their tips. We can save the tipping culture rant for another time. I think more recently I've started to have a more negative opinion about it. But I do think, but I mean, fact is, if you're working hard in a sit down restaurant, you'll probably make pretty good tips. But I don't think, I'm just making a guess here. This is purely an assumption. I'm guessing that this person doesn't like people very much. I think if they get treated badly by customers, it probably hurts them, as it would anyone, but it probably hits them a lot harder than others. And so a sit down restaurant might not be the place for them.
Yeah. What are your passions outside of working here?
I mean, I do art, I guess. Yeah.
What kind of art?
Ooh, not very passionate. The thing is, like, if you want to move up in the world, you gotta be doing something. If you're saying I do art, I guess, like, that's not a good sign. Like, you can make art and make a living if you're smart. Need I say much more?
I draw, I guess. Yeah.
That's cool. Do you ever think about, like, after this going into illustration or something like that?
No, that's fucking insane.
Oh, I tried so hard before. Like, I'm mostly on the workers' side, but like, I think they should get paid better. I think everyone should get paid better. But you also can't complain so hard about this job when you're not even willing to attempt a different career in something that you're passionate about. Or at least more passionate about, something that would be even just marginally better. Like, if you don't like your job, yeah, find a different one. Like, you're going to have to put up with it for a while. It sucks. That's how it is. But there's other jobs out there. Set goals for yourself.
Because like even in our current society, we have as much, you know, like I'm not gonna have the opportunity now.
I think a lot of people just limit themselves. I think there's plenty of opportunity. It's just hard to see. I think, yeah, I just think people should set goals for themselves and work harder at figuring out how to get into industries that they want to get into, careers that they want to get into. It's not always super easy. It's not easy. It's not always cut and dry how that happens. But I mean, if you're super passionate about something, I think you can figure it out over time. Like based on their previous answer, they're not even, it seems like they're not even willing to put in the effort to find a viable road into an illustration career or something similar.
Never know.
No.
Is there a
You gotta at least
possibility
try.
of promotion in the Dunkin' Donuts corporate apparatus?
Well, I don't know why I'd want to do that. Then I would lose union protection.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm on their side. And they're making it so hard. Like you have reasonable complaints. But you're also so unwilling to help yourself. Yeah, I hate this job, but I'm not willing to find another one, and I'm also not willing to take a promotion to make this job a better situation for myself. Oh, how? I have nothing else to say about that. I can't add to that. That's such a negative mindset.
Protections.
Channel 5 live worldwide, Hollywood and Vine.
Fuck the authority, Channel 5 News.
Channel 55. We don't fuck with custers. And 5 is the best number.
People like that drive me nuts. Yeah. Yeah, like, again, these people have reasonable complaints. I think some of them are a bit misplaced, but like, I do think robots and automation should enter the workforce more as a supplement. I mean, obviously at some point it's going to replace certain jobs, but I think for now, supplementing it is a good place. Because I don't think it's necessarily advanced enough to replace workers, but I mean, it is getting there. At some point it will. But yeah, if you don't like your job, find a different one. Put up with it for now. It sucks. But like, there's ways out. You got to be willing to help yourself. Like, I hate kiosks, but also the people never want to better their lives. Drives me nuts too. I like kiosks because I talked about this earlier, but it takes out one human element, and every human element that is in the process of getting your food is a point where a mistake can be made. I mean, computers can have errors too, but your order is much more likely to be put in correctly if you're the one putting it in. Now it gets more troublesome. Look, if you put in your order wrong, that's on you. I feel like if you're at the kiosk, you got to put it in correctly. You got plenty of time to double check. The troublesome part for the workers are people are going to put in their orders wrong on the kiosk and then blame the kiosk and blame the workers when the order is wrong. I know that's going to happen a lot. That probably happens a lot out there. I will say working in fast food makes you lose a lot of hope for humanity. I think we'll leave that one at that.